Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Voices in My Head. This is the podcast where we talk about audiobooks and everything to do with the audiobook industry. We're going to talk this week about the booth. You know, the booth. Like the place where Superman goes to change from Clark Kent into Superman, become the superhero. The Cave of Wonders. The booth is a significant part of being an audiobook narrator. Well, you know what? Your voice may be perfectly fine. Your acting ability may be perfectly fine. You could even have the most expensive microphone, the best preamp, the best computer, the best everything. But if the room sucks, you suck. It's that simple. If you don't have a good sound conditioned room, now not just soundproof, but sound conditioned, that's going to be the maker or the breaker of your audiobook deals. Now, you can look behind me here, and I've got this perfectly quiet, soundproof room that's just amazingly awesome. As you can tell by the sound of it, there's no sound getting in here at all, right? Well, actually, that's not the case. To be quite honest with you, you don't need a super expensive sound booth in order to do what we need to do. I mean, look behind me here. You see all this gear that's back there, all that really nice setup. That's probably about, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 worth of gear back there. In reality, that's not mine. As you may have guessed, but to be quite honest with you, quite literally, I'm in a closet. Go figure. I still haven't come out of the closet yet, and I don't plan to come out of the closet because I like my closet. It's like, well, the Cave of Wonders. We've got some different examples of sound booths that I want to show you today. The key thing to having a good sound booth is to have a place that's away from not only the ambient noise of your house, but the ambient noise of the street and the sky around you. Yes, I did say sky. Not just the alien transmissions that you may be hearing, but airplanes, helicopters, loud birds, leaf blowers, lawn mowers, snow blowers, people shoveling, kids playing outside. Then you want to make sure that it's away from the exterior walls where sounds may break through and vibrate through your walls. Which, by the way, that's one of the reasons that I always wear headphones. I don't record in my studio just with monitor speakers or something like that, because to be quite honest with you, I've played with too many guns and too many power tools over my life. My hearing isn't what it used to be. Therefore, there's a lot of higher pitches that I may not hear, but good old Mr. Microphone will pick it up. Therefore, if I'm wearing headphones, not the noise canceling headphones, but just plain old good monitor headphones, and I turn the volume up to a comfortable but loud level, I can hear whatever's entering this microphone. If the microphone picks it up, I hear it. I'm not going to miss it and end up getting pickups back from my editor saying, hey, dude, someone's cutting down the forest outside your house. How do you make your sound booth quiet? A couple of different ways you could do it. Number one way that you could do it, wrap yourself in noise-resistant materials. Now, here's a couple of really simple setups that we got. This is my friend Al Kessel's setup in his apartment, in his home. He's got a corner of the house, blankets, these nice soundproofing, kind of like the moving blankets that you might be able to get, or you can actually buy these nice soundproofing blankets that are just big, thick, heavy cotton blankets. They could block a lot of the outside ambient noise, wrap them around the corner up here, hanging from your ceiling. It can make a great booth. Downside is it can get really hot inside. So, if you're one of those people that's kind of cold-blooded and you're always shivering and you like to have a space heater on wherever you're at, this kind of setup may be perfect for you because it's going to hold in all that ambient heat and keep you pretty warm in there between your computer monitors, your pad, your other gear that's on in there, and then your body heat is going to just kind of stay in there. It'll be nice and toasty warm for you. A guy like me, on the other hand, a little bit, bulky. And on top of that, I'm a heat-generating nuclear reactor inside, so I'm constantly hot. That's why I live in Alaska. It's just going to be really hot, and I'm going to have to be opening that thing to air it out every 30 minutes or so. I'm going to get to the point of no return and have to air it out before I sweat away and dwindle into this little skeletal mummy inside of there. Not cool to have a mummy doing your audiobook for you. This is the audiobook from the dead. Anyway, this is Al's space. nice little tent in his living room. It's kind of like, when you're a little kid and you build a fort and you throw Nerf balls at each other, or, shoot the Nerf guns that they have nowadays. Why didn't they have those Nerf guns when we were kids? I think that would have been so cool. I yearned for something like that. Instead, we were shooting each other with BB guns and, putting each other's eyes out, and that stung. Ouch. Ooh, I still remember. I have a little scar on my... Oh, never mind. Here's another example of a corner of a room being turned into a recording booth. Andy Arndt, Audio Award nominee 2014. Yeah, go Andy. She may very well be an Audio Award winner here in the next couple of months. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, man, then I'm going to have to come back and edit this video. Well, good luck to you anyway, Andy. I hope you win. Anyway, this is Andy's little corner booth, a corner of her home that's been sound conditioned with the foam paneling, and she's got it on 2 walls here, and then got the blankets that curve up around it. Got a nice comfy chair in there, a stand to hold her laptop. Here's a good illustration of something that you need to keep into consideration. Your laptop, your computer, however you're going to be getting the data for what you're going to be recording and what system you're going to be recording onto, you need to watch out for fan noise from your computer. If now in Andy's case here, she's got her laptop in there in the booth with her. If her laptop's nice and quiet and the microphone doesn't pick up that sound, that's fine. Myself, I use a full-sized PC, and it's got like airplane propellers that run the fans. There's wah. And rather than making it sound like I'm trying to record inside of a B-25 bomber, I leave mine outside of my booth. That's something to keep into consideration, the noise that you enclose in the space with you. But this is Andy's booth. And I heard from Andy that she's also going to be, very soon, she's going to be building a Studio Bricks booth, which will give you a quick overview of what some of those prefabbed booths are like, too, after we talk about these homemade ones. Here's another example of a booth, George Kitch. He has his apparently like in the corner of a closet or a small room, just a table, a monitor, some soundproofing on the walls, and he's able to set it up, and you get that nice little cozy sound in there. Likewise, Ken Lee has his audio studio set up in what looks like the corner of a small room. Now, he's got these gigantic, big old 70s monster speakers in there. I'm hoping that he's not using those as his monitors, but, maybe he is. And, it'd be like that, like G-forces coming out of those things whenever he's listening to the sound. That's some pretty loud music going on there, Ken. God bless your ears. It's like having a Who concert every time you're editing your audiobook. But the space itself is pretty nice. He's got the foam padding all around there, got it sound conditioned for what he wants it to be. And of course, last but not least here as our examples is Paul Christie's space. Yeah, the most secure audio recording studio in the world. He's actually planning to take over the world. Now, I would like to have those nice big 50-inch computer monitors that he's got up there, and that nice 50 caliber machine gun back behind there. Wow, that's pretty cool. Myself, how do I have mine set up? Well, here's a picture of mine right here. This looks like a nice little corner booth. Could be in a room, could be in its own box. It's actually inside of a walk-in closet, which is actually where I'm shooting this video right now. No, I'm not going to knock down the screen that's behind me and show you the secrets of my wife's wardrobe. That's just not the way I operate, because, that's a private thing, and a real man doesn't do that by showing his wife's knickers. So, yeah, all that stuff is back behind the curtain there. But this is a walk-in closet that I've reset one corner of it and turned it into both an audio and a video recording studio. It's a nice little space, about 4 feet by 4 feet in size, and got plenty of room to be able to do the work that I want to do. And the nice thing is that the rest of the room is packed full of clothes, blankets, pillows, etc., that all absorb the surrounding noise. Now, here's one thing about it. The spaces, all these spaces that I've just shown you, and including my own space, these are natural rooms in a house. And there's things that you need to be aware of if you're going to use natural rooms in a house as your studio space. Thing number 1, where are the plumbing pipes? This is something I didn't think of when I first put my studio in my walk-in closet until I discovered, upon my sons flushing the toilet, that the plumbing pipes actually run through this closet. This is an upstairs closet. It's separated from the rest of the house. And I figured at first, well, as long as no one's using the bathtub that's on the other side of the wall here, not going to be a big deal. Ha 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 ha. But I tell you something else, mes amis. It is actually quite a big deal because the plumbing pipes that go to that bathtub and the toilet that are in the bathroom are connected to the plumbing pipes that go to the laundry room and go to the downstairs bathroom. Therefore, whenever someone flushes or turns on the water or does the laundry, there's a hissing sound in the wall. So therefore, I've had to time my recordings so that my wife's not trying to do laundry. My kids, I kind of work around whenever they flush the toilet or something. I got to stop recording and wait for the pipes to settle down and the thing to refresh and all that stuff. So you got to be aware of that. Thing number 2, are you on an outside wall? The back behind me in this closet is an outside wall. I can hear airplanes flying by, and this is Alaska. Up until the 1980s, 1990s, there were actually more single-engine, propeller-driven aircraft in the state of Alaska than cars. Right now, we've actually got probably a few more cars than small airplanes, but we still have a lot. It's a constant flow of airplane traffic that flies over everywhere, pretty much. Every neighborhood in Alaska has airplane traffic going in. A lot of small private runways just down the road from you here. Rich people that have their own little airplanes commute back and forth to work wherever, or just go flying for pleasure. Small evil Lord Lairs trying to take over the world with their little single-engine airplanes. Yeah, they won't win. Anyway, a lot of airplane traffic, a lot of vehicle traffic. If you live near a highway or a freeway, live near any kind of major roadway, do you have guys driving outside, revving up their cars? Are you in a place that has a lot of Harley-Davidson style motorcycles? And they're just zipping by outside. That rumble can get through your walls. The boom boom bass cars that are going outside playing their driving music. Yeah, those guys you got to watch for. All those things make noise that come from outside. So if you got an outside wall or an exposure to the ceiling above you that goes outside, one of the things you could do is what I've done in this space is I got this soundproofing rubberized material. It's actually a soundproof rubber material that I put all over the walls behind the clothing to be able to stop the vibrations from outside. And it significantly cut vehicle traffic, airplane traffic, outside music, lawnmowers, and so on. It's this material right here. It's a really dense, thick, heavy-duty rubber material. And when I say heavy, I mean this is a 30-foot long by 4-foot wide roll that I unrolled to put in my closet on most of the walls in here. And the thing weighed about 170 pounds. So, I hefted it up onto my shoulder and walked it up the stairs. Now, just as a point of reference, years ago, I used to be a heavy weightlifter. I could bench a lot and I could deadlift a whole lot. The bar would bend kind of stuff. It's been a few years. I had some injuries, haven't lifted weights for a while. I carried that thing up the stairs and I thought it was going to die. It was awful. Very heavy stuff. So be aware if you do purchase this stuff, it's heavy. You may want to cut it to length in your garage and then carry up the smaller pieces into whatever space you're going to be, or just build your booth downstairs because it's going to be heavy. You can also do things such as add an extra layer of soundproofing sheetrock. There's a special super dense sheetrock that you could put into your recording space that would also stop the vibrations. And that's the key of what it means to soundproof or sound condition your space, is to stop the vibrations from outside coming in. The key is to make it not sound like you're recording in your bathroom or in your kitchen. Even though you may be recording in your bathroom or kitchen, you don't want it to sound like that. If you're in a den or if you're in a regular bedroom and you're recording and it sounds really echoey what's in there, people are going to picture that you're recording these books while you're sitting on you just don't want that imagery in people's minds. You're recording the book along, and then he reached up and touched her face. She was so beautiful. Her skin was so soft. That's what they're going to expect to hear if your voice is echoing and sounding like you're in the bathroom. If they're going to be worried about any moment now, he's going to flush. Oh, that's disgusting. You don't want to have your audience worrying about that. So sound conditioning your room, putting up the foam pads. This, by the way, is a great spot to recommend Auralex foam for the walls. Auralex is a brand. There are several other brands of acoustic foam that you could put up on the walls. You put these squares up to stop the various different vibrations on the walls. These are not just egg carton foam. This material is a specific density to specifically stop vibrations. You can buy kits of this stuff. It's relatively inexpensive. There's stuff to put in corners, stuff to put in for bass traps. And if you're going to really do an excellent job on what you're doing, you may want to hire an actual audio engineer, an actual audiophile with good hearing. They may be able to hear those sounds and get that taken out of your space. Now, speaking of professionals, we've talked a little bit about how to build your own space out of the materials at hand and some minimal cost. All of these others you could build for probably under $200 or $300. And I'm not joking either. Up to $500 or so. Now, one thing that Andy talked about that she's doing and that I'm going to be doing in the very near future is having or building one myself, having one built by a professional or building one yourself. They are expensive. Building a standalone booth that's dedicated to that purpose, we're talking anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. What Andy mentioned is Studio Bricks. Now, Studio Bricks is a company that's actually in Spain. Studio Bricks is basically life-size adult Legos. You can just snap all these blocks together. They have door blocks, window blocks, etc. You snap it together. Here's their website. Here's a picture of what the booth ends up looking like. Very cool stuff, including shipping to North America, U.S. and Canada. You're probably talking $8,000 to $10,000 total. Another great option is to have a carpenter friend put one together for you, like my good friend Scott Peterson down in the L.A. area. Now, Scott builds these by hand, builds them custom. Here's some examples of the various booths that he's put together. He can customize it, and carpenters like him, other people, can put them together like this. And if you know something about carpentry yourself, you can do it as well. Build yourself a nice, pretty booth that can also double as a general office, depending on how you want to set it up. Some people set them up with just enough space for a chair, a monitor, and a microphone, and all you're going to do is record audiobooks. Some folks, like myself, I use my space as a full-on office. This is my regular office where I sit in here 6 or 8 hours a day. And Scott does some amazing stuff. By the way, if you're within 100 miles of the LA area, give Scott a call. Maybe he can come out, check out your stuff for you, and get you a booth get together. Here's his information right down here. Contact him, get a hold of him, and see what he can do. Enjoy. Give him some business down there because he does a great job, a great service for a lot of audiobook and voiceover producers down there in the LA area. So in closing, let's just say that if you're going to put together your own booth, whether it's in a closet or a space that's dedicated to that or a standalone booth, make sure that you do a good job. Because that place that you're recording in is going to be your lifeblood when it comes to income. The sound that that booth makes is going to define who you are in front of all these other people. Thank you very much for coming along and enjoying the show. I enjoy being with you guys, and I hope that you have a great time in the audiobook world. Please leave any questions that you got, comments, concerns down at the bottom of this video, right down below us there. See the spot down there where you can put comment. Oh, look at that down there. Huh? How about that? I can see right down here. Oh, anyway, you look down and there's the comments. You could write some comments down there. Check us out on Facebook over on Audiobook Crowd, professional audiobook narrators. Check me out on Facebook, Basil Sands 1, and we can chat, we can talk, we can become friends, Facebooky friends. You know, we can rub shoulders. I can show you pictures of my barbecue grill and stuff like that, and nice pictures of Alaska, and you can share with me pictures of stuff and maybe, you know, send me your winning lottery ticket, that kind of thing, because we don't have a lottery in Alaska. I have no hope of ever getting rich without a lottery, but you can help. This is Basil. This is Voices in My Head, the podcast. I'll see you next time. See you around the web. Have a wonderful time in the audiobook world. Enjoy. I'm going to go build my own place now. Come here, boy. Come here. I'm going to take care of this for you. They said I had some hammering to do. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer us. Oh, ow! Oh! I see, said the blind man as he picked up his hammer and saw. The word for today is seesaw. 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 I don't know what this does, but it sure does make you look smart if you know how to use it. Ooh. Yeah. Power tools. Feeling a little bit wired today. That's all. Have a wonderful week.